What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we have a special treat for you. We have Brittany here from Litebrite Nation.
What's up, you guys?
Awesome. If you guys haven't already followed, make sure you do. We've been wheeling across the country from Hurricane, Utah, all the way to Daytona Beach, Florida, and today we're in Kentucky. So this video is actually brought to you guys by popular demands because we've been asked for a comparison between these two rigs for a while.
But we don't want it to be just a normal this versus that. So as anyone who knows us, who follows the Litebrite YouTube channel, you know that we do primarily all of our wheeling in the West Coast, whereas Luna and Marlon,
we do it on the East Coast. So this rig was very much purpose-built to wheel East Coast. Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, you guys get the drill.
Whereas the stepchild, RJL, has been built specifically to mostly wheel on the West Coast. So we're talking Colorado, Utah, California, and more of your drier, higher traction areas.
Very dry. Very, very dry. All right, so let's get to it. This is a 2018 Jeep Wrangler JK, two-door. So yeah, guys, 2018, same year as the first JL, but this was done in the first half of the year.
Whereas the stepchild is a 2018 JL, but it's a JLU. It's a four-door JLU Rubicon. So, as Luna likes to call it, a minivan.
So even though I refer to Jeepy as Jeepy, its real name is Karma, right? So Jeepy here, we have 42-inch tires and Ultimate Dana 60s front and rear. That's important because out here on the east, we like to maintain belly height as the maximum just to support clearance of all these rocks. We refer to Ultimate Dana 80s and just Super Duty 80s as well as 14 bolts as boat anchors. That's why you'll see a lot of them shaped, right? So keeping up with the minivan and the boat anchor, I don't really have that problem because we have maximum clearance with the real big tires as well as still being on tons, but just maintaining that clearance is important out here.
Whereas for us in the stepchild, belly clearance isn't really the top priority like it really is out here on the East Coast, which if you've watched any of their past videos, you've seen our Dynatrac 80 in the rear really struggle out here. Boat anchor, it's pretty accurate. So we're actually only on 40-inch tires. And we have a Dynatrac 60 in the front, but a Dynatrac 80 in the rear. But you have to keep in mind, our stepchild, it's built for the West Coast. That doesn't just mean rock crawling. This is also kind of a jack-of-all-trades Jeep build. So it's meant for also really high speeds. So the four-door, the long wheelbase, and stability for really steep inclines, but also for really high speed out in the desert is important for us, at least more so than the belly clearance. But also, the West Coast has a ton of traction.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike the mud and the ick out here on the East Coast, where you have your little traction out here, you have really high traction out there. So having the 80 and the strength in the rear, especially if you're using high speed to climb up stuff, where you do actually have traction, you don't really want to break a rear axle shaft. So the 80 is important for us for the West Coast wheeling.
So another thing that is worth mentioning out here, especially, I mean, we've been doing Harlan for the last 2 days. Before that, we did Windrock. Before that, we did Choccolocco in Alabama. We're talking about substantially large rocks, but with substantially large holes between those rocks, right? Whereas a four-door is going to try to climb both in the front and the rear and kind of be turtled, like you've seen. Insert clip here. GP really, the 112 wheelbase is really meant to that. As long as I have my front two tires on a rock, I should just be able to just pull myself up. And we've seen that time and time again the last couple of days that we've been.
She's not joking. So weirdly, this Jeep, it is really built extremely well, and it's the perfect wheelbase and like the perfect height for the East Coast stuff and all of those diff catchers and all of those hang-ups as far as the rocks
miss
go.
These rocks by
credit card.
Yeah.
And when she's barely skimming over the top of a rock, our 80 is literally just like smashing through every
Hello,
single
I'm
one
here.
of them.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Dana 80. That's who.
So we have a 119-inch wheelbase. But whereas when we're climbing extremely steep stuff and we feel stable and we don't feel like we're going to flip over onto our roof, probably not so much on your end.
Insert clip here where I'm like, it doesn't feel good.
There's nothing there.
Does it feel like it? Because it doesn't, guys. It just doesn't. I mean, out there, I do have to get like my West Coast pants on. I still haven't found my West Coast legs, so to speak, but it just doesn't feel stable at all. It doesn't feel good. Those vertical climbs, I mean, my front end is unloading. You guys are gonna see, we've been talking amongst ourselves. There's gonna be some needed changes for GP that just have to take place. It's not gonna change too much, but it's gonna make wheeling out there more fun and just safer in general. So I have my assistant here, Kevin. He's gonna give you, for those of you that are more visually inclined, a demonstration. What are we talking about when it comes to clearance, diff clearance? Watch this. Go, Kevin, go. So that's their front axle. This is on the stepchild, of course. That's one Kevin shoe. One Kevin shoe, right? It's like three llama lengths. Like, it's always some weird measurement. And so this is under RG, the two-door. So guys, that's at least 2 inches, if not more. So it's important to note for all of you that are gonna come for us in the comments, yes, we understand that this is a 40 and this is a 42. I'm at between 7 and 8 PSI, and you guys are at
7 and 8 PSI.
So literally the same. Yeah, we went ahead and we measured. I think you're 7, 8, and I'm 7.5 or something like that, or vice versa. Guys, we're talking about not a big number, but it's just to show you that this combo, if you guys have followed them like along their adventures, you know it works out there. But if you guys have followed us around or along, like I know you have, you know that this just plain works out here.
Whereas, again, if you've been following along, out here, the stepchild, we're so used to the stepchild.
Prayers.
Sorrows, prayers. We're so used to the stepchild performing so well. It's been kind of a
humbling experience.
It's very humbling to come out here to the west and find out that our
East.
4-door, or the east, and find out our 4-door 40-inch 60/80 Jeep is
not enough.
Yeah,
we use these more for taking the children to and from school. But you do see them out here.
You know what though? Who carried your luggage?
Exactly. You could always depend on a 4-door to carry your luggage. Always keep a 4-door in your group, guys. A couple similarities, same,
but
different is I do have a frame chop bumper here. Obviously not as exaggerated, and I don't mean that in a bad way, as the stepchild. As you can see here, this is definitely way more recessed. The thing that sticks out the most is gonna be the lights. But as far as similarities, we both have worn winches, we both have Factor 55 Ultra hooks. The fair leads are literally the same. We have 2.5 ton steering tie rod, right? I have RCV axle shafts, whereas you guys still have U-joints.
Yes, correct.
Okay, but other than that, I mean, I don't have a front sway bar. You guys do, right? So let's get into this.
So we do have an anti-rock front sway bar. So like you said, our front bumper, so we actually have a 5-inch frame chop Next Venture Motorsport bumper, because in the West Coast, when we're doing really steep climbs, if you can't put your tires on it, you can't even attempt it, right? So being able to have the tires stick out almost as much, if not slightly more, than our front bumper was really important. But as far as steering goes, like she says, we've got a combination of Steer Smarts and rock crawler steering, and of course the Dynatrac 60. We have hydro assist, and they're pretty similar as far as that goes, but again, our Dynatrac 60, we have U-joints rather than RCVs.
So on GP, we have 2.5 coilovers, and that's diameter, guys, as well as bump stops.
Whereas on the stepchild, we've got 3.0s, but ours are also 14-inch, whereas on GP, those are 12-inch.
Little tiny 17s and 20s. And so personally, I prefer 17s. I think the last 2 brands of 42s, I don't know, you guys let me know what you think, but like I see more and more manufacturers doing 42s on 20s, and you guys are gonna try to hit me with some science. I don't care. I like the look, and there was nothing wrong with a 43, a traditional 43 TSL and 17s. Don't fix what ain't broke. I can't wait to go back to 17s. There's a surprise coming soon, guys. As soon as we get back home, gonna look different. Alrighty, a big difference obviously is the color, but not just the color. GP has some super awesome stickers, whereas
the stepchild has a fully custom hand paint job, and that's because we live in the West Coast and we do West Coast wheeling, where we're not afraid of smashing it into trees every time we climb up a rock. Well, not usually afraid of smashing it into trees every time we climb up. To the East Coast, they're everywhere. Body damage is so significantly more likely on the East Coast than it is on the West Coast.
I have Moab-built half doors. I don't have uppers. We never really cared for them. I do have them in the garage, but we never drilled the holes into the door. We don't care. Open top, what's uppers gonna do for me? And obviously you see that there's no stock mirror situation. We have these that are bracketed. I think they're Skosh or Skoshi, I don't know. Y'all are gonna kill me in the comments anyways.
Whereas we still actually have our factory JLU doors with a full working window, and that's because we're allergic to mud and we're allergic to mosquitoes and bugs.
They're
and
allergic to fun. That's all I'm hearing.
And we also love our creature comforts, our electric, or our heat, our AC, which I know you have, but do you really?
I have AC.
Do you really though?
My heat works way better than the JL's heat, and both of you have said it. You weren't complaining yesterday.
Your AC does. Your AC does.
No,
I don't know about your heat.
Hemi versus Hemi, it's fire. No matter, it's lava. It's literally lava for heat.
That's true. We didn't mention that. So they both have Hemis. I only have a 392. It's cam though, and
but we have a 426 stroked Hemi in the stepchild, along with heated and cooled seats as well, which I know you don't have.
Interior wise, I have PRP suspension seats as well as a 5-point harness. We get rowdy out here. Not that y'all don't get rowdy out there, but yeah, those hits be hurting when you tumble down. I have a removable steering wheel. Again, guys, this is not exactly daily driver friendly. We have the cage, full cage, that has a custom fastback, as well as, I don't really want to get into it, but obviously a fuel cell in the back. So that means only 2 people allowed in GP at a time.
And no storage.
And 0 storage.
Whereas in the stepchild, again, it's a 4-door. Now, once upon a time, we actually did have PRP seats as well as a harness bar in the back. But as you'll notice right now, we actually have gone back to the factory seats. We've just essentially reupholstered them with cat skins, custom with our own personal logo.
Oh, bougie.
But we did get rid of the PRP seats and the rear harness bar because we decided that with a 4-door, we actually do have friends, unlike the 2-door people. And there's people that do sit back there sometimes, and the harness bar is basically a death trap. So we got rid of that.
Damn.
And we've gone back to kind of a more simple setup here.
Traditional, yeah.
Yeah, more traditional.
So let's take a look at what I have. I mean, they got Narnia over there. They have a whole extra
Back door, that thing that you don't have for the friends you also
Damn, she's spicy. Don't worry, guys. We're actually fun, so we got boom boom. On top of that, we have the recovery gear. You know, we always have it ready. Hi, Justin, first of all. Because Kevin always needs, you know, just that friendly push or pull. Depends on the obstacle with that big old boat anchor. Fuel cell.
It's true. It's funny.
It's true. 19-gallon fuel cell, which doesn't actually seem like a lot when you have a very thirsty V8. I find myself at gas stations more often than not, but hey, there are worse things like V6s.
Wow.
Damn,
Shots fired.
Shots
Shots fired.
A lot of people.
So the funny thing about this is that I still have a V6.
Not only do you still have a V6, how many V6s are you on? How many V6s have you had?
Is that boy math?
3
Like
or
V6 times V6 times V6?
Oh,
3
it's
or
still
4.
a V6.
Yeah.
3 or 4 V6s.
I'm fine.
So we have obviously the tree saver, we have a factor 55, the rest of the recovery gear is in here. We have the power tank, not exactly to air ourselves up because we kind of maintain between 7 and 10 PSI even on the road, but that's more for friends. Mall crawlers, like Kevin.
Oh, we're friends now?
Whereas in the stepchild, as far as the back seat goes, we actually have a toolbox. We have our full factor 55 recovery gear as well. We even have a safari hat for Luna here to keep her from getting sunburnt.
I'm ready.
And of course you can see we also have our Moab jack here as well. You can also see the external reservoirs for our rear 14-inch coilovers. And honestly, that's it, because we don't need to put everything up here because we have a 4-door, which means we have space underneath for our gas tank.
Emotional damage.
So while they're stuck awaiting recovery, they have a whole situation to feed the rest of the trail.
Along with this little LED light, we also have our little bottle cap opener with little catch for all of your bottle caps and a little trash bag holder here.
Plus, this is magnetic.
It is, so all of your knives or silverware, everything else.
Your recovery gear?
Or recovery gear, whatever we don't carry with us. We've never used this before, but it's here for when we need it. For all of our Uncrustables, to lay the Uncrustables out on the table.
So besides having a 4-linked rear and a 3-link front, that's actually why I have the fuel cell in the rear. Because when you 4-link a 2-door, it's just not possible to retain the stock tank, right? The gas tank. We have a what they call a true dual exhaust. Uncrushed, by the way, uncrushed. Because our tires stick out further than our bumper and our departure angle is different than a 4-door.
Whereas the stepchild also has a 3-linked front and a triangulated 4-link rear, which is why our fuel tank is also in the rear, just underneath, because it fits back there. But we did have to relocate it from the factory. We had to get rid of the factory fuel tank because that doesn't work with the triangulated 4-link. Now we also have a dual exhaust, although you might notice that we use our Jeep a lot more than Luna does. So ours might be a little bit more crushed than hers.
Yeah.
But ours actually has a valve partway through the exhaust, so we can actually open and close that valve so that we don't piss off our neighbors every morning when we cold start this 426 Hemi.
We don't have neighbors out here, we have acres. And this is, you know, they've been saying more friends, 4-doors. This is Kevin's best friend, the winch remote. He's become very attached, quite literally, to it since he's gotten so much use out of it recently. So I need my beautiful assistant measure that rear diff for us, won't you, bud? Oh, 40 years old. They don't go down like they used to. So that's what, like a foot and then some?
What are you doing there?
Just showing you how it hits with everything. Can't even clear my frickin' shoe.
Press on that life alert. Beep, beep, beep. So over here on the rock crawling monster, we got quite a bit of room.
Oh wow, big difference.
Huge difference. Because my foot was up to there.
Yep.
So that's how much extra diff clearance you have. That's a lot.
That's like 4 inches, right?
Great.
Boy math.
Boy math. 4 inches. 4 inches if you're counting boy math.
A boy's
4 inches.
4 inches.
4 inches.
4 inches. The takeaway, guys, if there's any at all, because we're just honestly trying to have a good time and really just bringing you entertaining content, right? At the end of the day, we're happy because we're doing what we love, so we want you guys to be happy as well watching us do it. My rig was very purpose-built. We've said that a million times. Is the grass greener on the other side? I mean, yes and no. It has its advantages and disadvantages. They have comfort, speed, does great on the West Coast, survives the East Coast, because as much, you know, smack that I talk and I give them a hard time, the stepchild has been able to do everything that has been thrown at it. A little less gracefully than moi, but we'll take it, just a little. Whereas, you know, if it's raining, snowing, sleeting, hailing, or just plain old hot, I'm not exactly having a fantastical time, but I'm surviving. So you guys let us know.
I'll just say Marlon was more than happy to jump in the stepchild when it was raining yesterday.
Even when it was broken. He's like, I'm still gonna get it.
Because I'm getting the broken Jeep.
That's a tell. That is definitely a tell. And I don't know why, because he also has an open top Jeep that's very purpose built. But
Yeah,
guys,
because I know how it feels.
it doesn't feel that bad when you're going over obstacles and not having to be winched up them.
Oh, well, you know.
Victory is sweet, my friends.
Fair.
Victory is sweet. Here, obviously, when we're over there on the West Coast, our friends are going to be able to give us all the smack they want. You guys let us know. Do you prefer purpose-built? Do you prefer kind of a jack of all trades? Open top, soft top, hard top? We want to know, because I mean, there's no wrong answer here, guys. That's one of the many beautiful things about building a 4x4, or just a vehicle in general. You make it your own, you do what you want with your money, and no one can tell you anything.
Guys, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, you can find all of your Off-Roading Chill merch at offroadingchill.com. But as always, we love you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!
Bye!